Hello, everybody. Oh, wow, that transition was weird. My OBS must be screwed up. But hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Theta Thursdays. Dawn.
Hi.
How you doing, Dawn?
Pretty good. It's been a week. Pretty chill in some days. Like, we'll literally go from 0 to 60 and then back to 0. And then back to 60. So it's been pretty crazy. But other than that, right now we've got a couple guests. We just got off of a fight that I believe we did pretty well on. And we should be getting hopefully some more people in as they kind of get off fleets. We have another guest hopefully coming here soon. So, but right now we have Seabass, who is a returning guest. And we have Ragnar, who's a returning semi-regular. And then Eric's here for moral support / his jolly good nature when he's available.
You made me come.
Shh, don't tell them that.
She grabbed him by the nipple and twisted it. That's why he's here.
I have no comment on that.
Who knew?
Who knew what? That
That you were a top? I don't know. Who did?
Everybody.
Fair enough.
So we're just going to kind of get started into this week as people come and go. You know, I don't expect us to have a super long show today because this week was kind of chill, like overall with like news. There was like a lot of little stuff happening, but anything big?
I do want to say that I'm enjoying them feeding us recons. Like, keep feeding me recons. I think I've collected over 40 fucking kill marks on my Tengu this fucking week.
Are you getting your bounties?
It's fucking amazing.
Like, well, no, the thing is when you kill one, you get money for the bounties. So you were all like, how am I going to make money ratting anymore? Because you couldn't rat anymore.
He's just ratting, but a different way. You know?
A different thing is I'm ratting different things now. I'm ratting stupid.
Yeah, that's not very hard to do.
I see Redline's trying to start off spicy today, but that's fine. And then, you know, like, there has been some, you know, things that have happened in EU or in the game in general. In Delve. Delve's what, a little singed right now on the edges? It's like we left the pie in a little too long. Is that kind of where we're at right now?
I was going to say putting the toast in the toaster and, like, thinking the dial is the time and not how much you want it burnt, you know? You know what I mean? When you put your toast in the toaster and you have that little dial, and you can never really tell on that new toaster whether that dial is like whether it's how like time and like minutes of how long the toast is in there for, or whether it's like how burnt you want the toast to be.
Hey, Redline, you thought our alliance was great until we kicked you out because you sucked. So your comment's kind of irrelevant.
No, it's more of that, Pappy don't want to actually tell the truth ever because they passed tonight because they couldn't come and get inside system for the bigger fleet earlier today. And then we made
That's
them
right.
run away.
We didn't kick you out. You left like a crying baby with a temper tantrum.
It was I was there in a ship, and for the second thing, not the first thing, because I was still working when that started off. And we were ready to rumble. We were ready to go. We had a couple fleets, and then PGL did his trademark. We're gonna pass, and went off and shot some like jump bridge somewhere else, I guess.
So so instead, the thing is that the NOL jump gate goes to T5Z, which is one jump away from our main stager, and they decided to jump the jump bridge that's an AGI, and that one is linked to 4K, which is 4 jumps from our main stager. So as to why they decided to knock out the jump bridge that is farther away from our home system, because I thought my thought was that Pappy's plan is to pretty much lock us in 1DQ style by taking out our jump bridges so that we have to free burn everywhere. But, I guess not, considering I can just go 1 jump from 1DQ and then be 3 jumps from Pappy Stager. Is it 4.0, not 4K? Okay, it's 4.0, okay. I mean, still.
4K text over by DTECW, sweetie.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
Isn't it kind of locking yourself in with the prisoners?
Yeah, it's kind of a Rorschach moment, like I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me. Even outnumbered, we can still put the hurt down. What I really love is all the like circle jerking and like harfing and blurfing. They're like, yeah, we took ZA9 or whatever, right? Okay, or UEXO, which is not in normal range of most of our super, and would be suicide to jump anything into. So now I know we moved to DTECW, so I could be wrong, but I'm still pretty sure that most of those regions aren't covered fully. I think just those upper pockets might be, but I've been having fun fighting on the iHubs back and forth. Like they took them all one night, and then I think we reinforced every single one of them, and have been taking them back and forth, and then not having. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing.
I had some fun this week. Earlier this week, me and a couple other people saw that Brave has been riding.
Mifune drag a cat.
Oh, is she here? Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
So there she is. Okay. What's up?
The cat's trying to get her mic to work. Just set it to push to talk.
Yeah.
You guys get to see not one, but 2 women.
2 whole women in Eve.
2 whole women in Eve.
Where?
It's not
Where?
real.
Somebody point them out to me so I can.
So I'm female number 1 in Theta, only just by chronological order here. And then a CAC is female number, or beta? Female beta?
No, she's
female alpha, sorry. And then what is Calenthe?
Female, I don't know.
You're also
something
really
else
loud.
that's her, but it's not.
Okay, there we go. I adjusted you myself. But yeah, so we have 2 whole females on the show, which is not the most of any of the Eve shows, but like that's a lot for an INN show. So I'm gonna say
diversity.
We are expanding and diversifying our portfolio.
Well, miracles never cease.
So anyways, we were talking about what, iHubs?
Well, I was saying how earlier this week we spotted a lot of brave people ratting Aquarius. And more specifically, we found a ratting Aeon that, surprisingly, what was really funny was I went to, I think it was Chillback, and I was like, yo, there's this ratting thing, can I go kill it? And they're like, sure, why the hell not, right? So I go form up bombers, we're leaving, and it took me like 3 minutes to find a blob spridger, but I eventually found one. And just as we were about to undock the fleet, as all of the bombers undock, I was told by my scout that the Aeon warped to a Fort Izar, and I'm like, wow, the amount of spies is so real. And then
that.
I mean, you
that
can't get
Aeon's been
upset. We have as many as they do, just ours are better.
I just found it funny that they waited all the way until we undocked to do it.
Or it's a coincidence.
Well, no, because here's the funny thing.
way.
Because as soon as I made the PAP for my fleet and I said, all right, guys, we're standing down, 3 minutes later, my scout was like, all right, the Aeon is resumed crabbing. And I'm like...
That's because that Aeon's been there since day one of them start. Like, if it's Chocolate Mad, I assume.
I have no clue the character name. I just knew it was an Aeon.
I've tried to kill him like 6 times. I'll get you someday. Your little dog, too. But not today, so... Yes, Mifune, we've been watching him for a long time.
Done. You had to put that little music, or whatever it goes, and thanks in my brain.
Our production value is
Our production value is just roughly the same as like a college freshman in film school.
Hey, I charge you 25 cents for that soundbite, just so you know. So,
25 cents. That's over $1 over our budget.
I know.
I feel like that music is old enough that it's free range.
We have to pay to be here.
See what else is going on this week.
The Interceptors.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, fine. We'll go into the changes because we got a little bit of it last week, but then they decided that, they wanted to drop more information the next day with the VAT out of hell and the ratting changes, which we talked about on Push to Talk, but we're all very loud there.
Don, have you heard how much how people are getting now with the new changes? Like how low it's getting?
Let's go over what the changes are for the dummies who don't read,
Right.
and then I'll
actually really interested in that webbing probe. I remember the old days of flying through Curse by myself of a corp of one in a cloaky holler and, burning back the gates and, slipping around micro warp driving sabers. And so that webbing is going to make, hiding cloaked a lot harder on gates.
That is true.
Well, also the webbles or wobbles.
Oh God, what a waste of time that is.
Those have a 3-second delay to affect the area. And I believe the fights yesterday, Mifune, you'd have to, or one of you, whoever was in the fight yesterday, did actually get to be applied yesterday.
So we got to use them yesterday in the fight in 1DQ. And they were okay at first. Pretty much what happened was Pappy had destroyed the Sinojammer in 1DQ, and they were all warping to the T5Z gate to catch their escape. And the funny thing about it was that Imperium Sabers were trying to get in 10% time, mind you. It was a whole fest yesterday. Trying to get to the T5Z gate and bubble it, while at the same time Pappy forces were trying to warp to the gate and bubble the gate so that Imperium could not follow behind them. And what ended up happening was both sides ended up bubbling each other and both getting caught in the same bubbles, right? So I believe it was Imperium, I believe it was an Imperium pilot, popped they popped the webification stuff, the wobbles, to stop Pappy from burning to the gate. But I think the lesson learned was that, obviously it affects us as well as it does them. So the fact that we were right on top of each other didn't really help, in the sense that they were still going faster than us, because we were using, I can't remember what doctrine we were using, but they were using Munins, so they were faster than us. They eventually made it to the gate, and there was like a point where 4 different Imperium FCs were like, stop using the web bubbles, you're screwing the fleet over. So it was just kind of for a first charm type thing, I don't like them. They're just, it's weird. It's a weird mechanic for me to see in play.
Seabass, you do a lot of gate camps with the peeps up there.
Yeah,
do you think you guys can use it?
we used it, and I mean, yeah, it's not actually like a bubble. It's an actual like a
Burst.
debuff, right? It's a burst projector. So you got to use it when they decloak, which means 3 seconds later, they're either thank you for helping me warp out faster, or too bad suckers have already crashed the gate. So the whole mechanic is just fucking a waste of time, and at least in our sense.
When do you think, when do you think that they could be useful?
Where could it be used? I mean, if you're trying to use them against a fleet that needs velocity like Serbs, if you want to put a debuff on them, that's about the only thing to be good for. But I mean, you're gonna sacrifice your interdictor to do it, so
I have
you can't
a feeling,
exactly like drop on grid, blast your bubble, and then try to cloak and align out. Because guess what? You got the debuff too now.
I
Someone in
think
chat.
I
Go ahead.
think they're going to be really good with waterboarding, maybe as an anti-waterboarding
Ooh.
tactic. Sabers, they just crash the gate as soon as they drop the bubble on your battleships. So if you can drop a webbing thing, you might actually be able to kill your waterboarder.
I was thinking the opposite way. So let's say you're waterboarding. I like the idea though here. Let's say you're waterboarding. Example, we got waterboarded in a SAC fleet trying to align to something to go shoot PGL or whatever. And Brave sent, I think, 30 sabers at our fleet, and we couldn't kill them fast enough to kill the bubbles and get out. Like eventually we had a starburst. But imagine if one of those sabers or two had also been a Webble, it would have taken us forever to get out of those bubbles comparatively to before. In, fucking 30. We were in like 40% tie-dye at the time. So I could, with the waterboarding, I could definitely see them being possibly useful, especially if you're just start throwing, things at the screen. Do you think that'd also be good offensively if you're trying to warp caps around and you need to get them off the gate faster?
Maybe. Last time I flew my super or my cap was, when we went up north with the biggest super move fleet. So I'm a little rusty.
I mean, you still have to know when they initiate warp before you can activate your wobble. So the only benefit of that is you won't get an aggression timer on them. Or wait, will you? I actually never paid attention if that's going to give an aggression timer.
so I have a feeling they could be used in Citadel fighting. Similar to how during some of these Citadel fights you have the interceptor fleets with the burst jammers. I could see a group of 10 to 15 sabers just constantly feeding straight into the enemy fleets to cause them to go slower. Like, especially like a Munin fleet, oh my god. Like, having 2 or 3 sabers constantly warping on top of a Munin fleet and using that burst jam. I could see it.
The cost of sacrificing it just to slow them down for a few seconds, I don't think it's effective.
When did Billy say he was going to hit a keep star by? By Saturday?
By this week, right? Last Theta Thursday, he said that he would hit a keep star this week.
But when does that week start?
That week started when he said it last Thursday, didn't it?
Well, that would have been like, what, 10 o'clock?
We
started
10
real
o'clock
late
on
this week.
Thursday? 10 o'clock on Thursday? Oh, you are right. So, Billy, if you're watching, Man, 3 hours to attack a Keepstar.
Oh,
Your
no,
word's a lie.
daylight savings time. Daylight savings time is actually what 9:39 from
No.
last week,
No,
Wait, is it?
or did we?
happened yet?
Whose daylight savings would it take effect that you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, Village
Daylight savings time.
have daylight savings.
So, the UK had their daylight savings, I think, this week or last week, and ours is in a couple.
Really time. I like that.
Yeah, Villy time. Because I mean, if you're gonna go off what he said, you have to do it in Villy time, which is North
But isn't
Canada.
he? He's in Pakistan, like Canada, right? So they're in. Depending on how far you are, you're an hour ahead, potentially, right? Or is he in Eastern?
I don't know. I don't know where he lives. It'd be kind of
mean-
weird if I did. So
Canada shares the same fucking daylight savings as the rest of the United States.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
There's just certain areas in each province that don't actually follow daylight savings at all. The farther north you go, the
Indiana fucking
less
did that
cities
for a
do.
time.
We didn't have daylight savings time.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They just
until-
didn't. They just didn't
We
do
just
it for a
didn't
time.
do it.
I
for a
know, and
very,
I'm like,
very
what do
long
you mean?
time.
You just did do it? It's like we just fucking did it.
Yeah, and there's a couple of places that are thinking about removing it, blah blah blah.
It's like
Wow.
it's not necessary, but I do like getting to sleep in at least extra one weekend a year. So, or staying up late because I didn't realize that daylight savings time kicked in, and I'm like, gosh, why am I so tired? And it's only 1:00. Ugh.
I mean, I really don't even pay attention to it anymore. My cell phone does it on its own, so I never worry about it.
Yeah, my cell phone, my PC, I don't have like a clock in my room anymore. I just don't. I just use my phone.
If I was the queen of the world for the day, one of the changes I would make is I would completely get rid of daylight savings time. If you're in California, you don't have to go to work at 8 in the morning anymore. You would go to work at what, like 8 to 10 or 12, but it would be sunrise, it would be like normal
The
time
time
for
is
you.
just the same across everything, even
Yeah,
though it's like
universal-
midnight, but it's bright as fuck out.
Universal
Yeah, well,
time.
it wouldn't be midday for you. Midday would be dependent, like where you are, your schedule.
So like
is dependent
China,
on
how
where
they
you
have one
are.
time zone.
Yeah, but global.
So a universal time zone is what you're
Yes.
saying. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think it was, did like a special somewhere on the History Channel, I think, where he talked about like what if we had a universal time zone, and like how it would kind of screw everybody up because like people in California and like people in the UK, like daytime wouldn't be daytime anymore because it would be technically like night.
Well,
for
you'd
them.
probably just use military time, like 2300 or whatever. Eric, what have you been doing this week?
Working.
No, have you done anything in Eve this week?
I have not. No, it's terrible. It's a terrible week for me. Let's gear up to our busy season. So yeah.
Oh yeah, because he runs like Amazon stuff. So I order my groceries through Amazon
I wish I could.
every week. Well, I live in a city that has a warehouse about 20 minutes from my house, so I have all of the services.
So the great thing is that I have an Amazon warehouse near my house too. And here's the funny thing: I order something from Amazon, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it'll arrive in 7 days." Guess when it arrives?
Yeah, because it's coming from a different.
No,
Well,
because I
there's a-
track the package and it arrives in the Amazon facility near me. And then here's the thing: is that the Amazon facility is near Raleigh, right? North Carolina, right? So the facility is near Raleigh, and for whatever reason, it'll go to the UPS shipment in Durham, and then from the UPS shipment in Durham to another Amazon facility in Greensboro, and then from Greensboro down to where I am, right outside of Raleigh.
Well, it depends on what you have, right? Do you have a fulfillment facility or do you have a delivery station?
I have
I-
no clue.
I have a fulfillment
Eric,
facility.
you gotta tell us what the secret code is that we have to enter into our orders to get it quicker.
I don't even have that. Although I did place an order just as this show started because I need some more. I need.
Is it going to be there like an hour?
We bought more phones, and yeah, it's going to be there tomorrow. And in where I am, it's 8:44 at night, right? And I'm going to get it one day, right?
I have to say that
And the funny thing is, I'll get paid to deliver it.
To yourself.
Yeah.
wow.
That's nice.
I do have to say that the response time on a lot of products is amazing, especially for us up here in Northern Canada, because we have no Amazon delivered distribution
Seabass is
warehouses
in
that
the
I'm
middle-
aware of.
You're in the middle of nowhere. Fuck.
Yeah,
like when we talk
I
about
get
nowhere,
shit the next
fuck
day
nowhere.
or almost the second day. It's amazing.
Oh, you got to be close to a station somewhere.
I can't see it.
You got to share your picture of your car because he's got a Garista symbol on your car.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
god, yeah. I have the decal of the Garistas on the back of my Yukon, and I fucking love it. I should drag it across.
I should get a Sancho one for mine.
You gotta be careful with the Amazon food ordering. CNBC had like a 20-minute video on how much stuff is just going expired. And so it makes a difference if you're ordering from like the Whole Foods part of the Amazon website versus the warehouse part.
Yeah,
It'll be
Amazon Pantry versus Whole Foods, right?
It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Whole Foods will deliver to where I live within an hour, and that's different. That's a whole different vertical, whole different
Mine's-
business.
I just use Amazon Fresh, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the
either way.
pantry. Fresh is the pantry,
fun.
right? Yeah, I wish we had
mostly
that
get
when we went on
boxed stuff.
vacation. Yeah.
So,
What will be interesting is there is, and so I have to be very careful what I say here. There is a very large food chain that is doing some very interesting stuff related to online ordering that should be probably coming out in the next year somewhere. It's going to be interesting how they do that.
If McDonald's starts delivering, I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack in my apartment.
So I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and they have many satellite university things, and one of them is in Johnstown. And in the University of Pittsburgh Johnstown campus, Dairy Queen delivers, the beer distributor delivered, and the McDonald's delivered. And I'm telling you, this is 25 years ago. So, there you go. You just need to
let's
deliver.
get back
Sorry.
a little bit because everyone wants us to talk about how we're kicking ass. So, which I feel like we are. I feel like this week has been a lot of both sides kind of poking and prodding to see how we'll respond to each other.
So I have a question on that, right? So Alex said on the weekend, right, how he felt their numbers were going down, and as we look at that, through this week after that conversation, right, they were below the 2-to-1 ratio. Are we still seeing that? Are we seeing a little uptick from them? What are we seeing out there?
I actually have a screenshot from the fight earlier today. That was the fight that went down right before the show started. According to the battle report, Goons had 433 members attend the fight and that's between Goon Swarm and the rest of our allies. And Pandemic Horde, NC Dot, and Test had a grand total of 864.
So that's about dead 2-to-1 as you're gonna get.
That's about 2-to-1 you're gonna get. Now, just say with that battle report, that was over a Sino beacon, is my understanding. I'm gonna pull up the battle report. Just Sino Jammer. I'll pull up the battle report here, and I'll shove it in Fleet Chat for anyone that wants to take a look. Or not Fleet Chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Into the Twitch chat. But
the winner of this war is going to be the one who runs out of Isklast.
I disagree.
That's how I view it. You don't think so?
I don't think it's going to play this at all.
It's the worst case scenario for Goonswarm is we end up in a castle situation where we're all safe in our structures, but we can't do anything, and then we'll bleed members. That's the worst case scenario. But the best case scenario is they get tired. Like it's always been about manpower, and they have twice as much manpower as we do. So if we bleed members, we're in trouble.
But we just
Yeah.
gained some members.
That is true.
Huh?
That is true. You know,
When you're quote unquote losing a war, and then you gain allies, that doesn't really follow
right?
the idea.
I
Red
mean,
Alliance did not have to come hang out with us.
But I mean, in terms of like, okay, we live in Delve. Our member base is in Delve. Goonswarm. The Imperium might continue, but Goonswarm would be in a lot of trouble if it started bleeding members because its membership can't go around Delve.
I haven't. Okay, so I don't get this idea that Billy and all of Pappy have about like we're gonna make it impossible to live in Delve. No, you're not. CCP already did that. They made all their changes. Granted, I understand why they made a lot of the changes they did. We don't necessarily have to like them, but they made mining unprofitable. They made ratting harder. They made supers easier to kill, so we can't just super rat unless we can have instant response time. And with how crazy it is in Delve on average, just because we had one crazy guy absolutely camp us to death for what? 3 years?
I definitely see CP succeeding over Villy and ruining the Imperium.
So, like, most of us have already, like, found something else to do outside of Delve. And Delve is our home/playground that we'll go do occasionally. Oh, there's an R64. Let's go mine that. Oh, I got an officer spawn. Yay, let's go do that. Oh, there's a hauler spawn. Things that, we could do. And some people are like, I'm just going to carry a rat, and just warp out when baddies show up or jump out and they're in the most shit-fit carry you've ever seen in your life, straight up for money. Some people are doing that too, but like, you're not.
I think they also have to realize that the Imperium isn't just all about Eve. We are a community that spreads across its fingers across other platforms. So yeah, I mean, trying to ruin us is good luck.
I mean, Eric and I were supposed to be in Vegas this past weekend, getting fucking fucked up. No.
Ooh, no. We could have been at the
You're not
cabana.
allowed to have fun, Don.
Viruses prevent me from that. But
You're not allowed to spank the Matani again.
I never did that, okay? There's this perpetuating story that I grabbed Mitten's ass, and I never did.
I thought it was
okay?
you spanked him, not grab his ass. Did
No,
you grab his ass and you're
Mittens-
just like mixing up the
Mittens
lie with the truth? Or?
No, Mittens was spanked doing the shot at the German place.
At the Hofbräu house.
Yeah.
I have a recording of it.
Oh, you recorded yourself spanking Mittens? How could you?
No, we have a recording of somebody else paying somebody to spank Mittens. It's even better. It's even more saucy.
Mittens?
And we have, by the way, we also have video of Sadist too.
That he was the first one because he went before, I think, and then Mittens was kind of later in the night. I remember.
Mittens was twice, wasn't he? I think he was twice.
He had a smile on the entire time too, so
I could definitely see Sadis just going up and grabbing Mitten's ass. I can see that happening.
I don't know what Twitch's rules are about
that. I'm not sure where to go and how to comment.
But anyway, so we were supposed to be in Vegas having a good time because goons have fun hanging out and doing things together, whether it be drinking, going shooting. I went to the shooting range with some of the Karma Fleet guys that I had never really spent much time with, but we got to bond there. I drunkenly went up to Tony and called him out for being mean to me, and we talked it out, and it was a good time. So you get to meet a different side of people you would never see in game.
Which resort do you guys usually stay at when you're doing the goon stuff at Vegas?
I stay in a condo that I can find for as cheap as possible, and then I just take Ubers everywhere.
See, and then Dawn figures out why she has bed bugs when she gets home.
No, the condos are like, $900 a week condos I get for $120 because of the connections I have. They're very nice condos.
Do they have
Anyway.
pools?
You will like.
Do they have
Some of them do.
food? That's
They
what we
do.
need. We just need a pool so we can just hang out. And then we can buy vodka at regular prices and sit there and drink it. We pass out.
Drinking
yeah,
in desert heat. Yeah, it sounds great.
In October, it is like 70 to 80 degrees outside. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. The water was a little chillier.
It was this because they don't heat their pools like ever. So
I know. So the yeah, and you're in a nice warm area, right? And I vacationed down in almost in Savannah. Some of the pools they have to chill to keep them from getting too hot.
I'm in Indiana, like it's cold.
I thought you were in a different state. I'm sorry.
I can't really say
I love
anything.
Indiana.
I can't say anything about heated pools because when I was younger, I was on the swim team for my school years ago. And there was a point, it was back when I lived in Philly, and there was a point where it was so cold outside that the pool was at 35 degrees. And the swim coach was like, all right, you guys don't have to swim if you don't want to. You guys don't have to practice. Y'all can go home. But if you really, really, really want to practice, you can practice for 30 minutes and then get out. So I was the only one with my mother who stayed there for the entire 30 minutes at swim practice, swimming in 35-degree water for almost
Yeah,
half
that sounds
an hour.
unhealthy. Also, yes, Redline, I'm in Indiana. If you were still in Goonswarm, you would know that.
Gary, Indiana.
Literal state of meth.
Let's see what Don knows. So my sister was actually a singing Hoosier.
And this is me giving this information. I am in Indianapolis, so I'm in the center.
Yes, yeah.
Are you sure you're
You
not?
know who lives just south of you, right? You got that singer guy,
Which one?
John Cougar.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, he lives. You don't know who John Cougar Mellencamp is?
I probably do, but it's blanking.
Copperhead
Jack
Road.
and Diane. Little
I'm sure
Pink
if
House.
I heard. I have no idea.
He lives in Bloomington.
Fuck Bloomington. Fucking snooty bitches.
That's where the university is.
Yeah, okay. Like, listen, I went to Michigan State, so go green, go white. I was not all about that,
Oh, you went to Michigan State? Fuck you.
Yeah. Were you in Michigan?
No, I'm Madison.
Now, don't make fun of me because.
Yeah,
so I'm going to sit
gross,
here,
Don.
and so I went to Pitt, but got my brother-in-law, so we are Michigan fans. So, but not Michigan State. So
No,
Michigan. Blue baby.
Redline.
Blue.
I don't watch football or whatever fuck it is. I didn't go to a single game at Michigan State because it was really loud. I just decided to tailgate and get drunk instead, so that was more fun. So.
See, here in NC, we kind of tear each other apart when it comes to football. Like if you're a fan of Duke football, then like everybody and anybody
Duke
who
football really you say that? I mean, that's a basketball.
That's not even a thing.
Really?
It's a basketball thing, but they have a football team. But it's like anybody that roots for Duke, anybody who lives in the Raleigh area instantly hates you because everyone that lives around Raleigh only wants NC State to win everything.
Yeah, I know. You got the Duke Zanies, baby, behind the
Eve, or else we're going to lose more people because no one wants to talk about how everyone else is inferior to Michigan State. So.
No.
Excuse me. UK is the best basketball.
I stand by my statement. So, so what else we have this week? Oh, we had the bounty change come, or like the ratting changes got dropped, and Bat Out of Hell, which we talked about on Push to Talk, but it's been a week, and people have done investigation on the numbers. Who's got those numbers?
The Flycatcher is better now. We got more CPU. I mean, isn't that it was bad before, and I hate all you haters who hate the Flycatcher, but it's better now.
That is a benefit.
I'm a fan.
Go, Eris.
The Eris is never It's never gonna be a thing, which is sad. Even with these changes, I don't think it'll ever be a thing. It got a little better, which is good. But what about didn't one of you say or know what they've reported on CC for the bounty drops in system? Ragnar, Mifune?
I think I remember hearing from someone it's either down 30% or it is 30%.
Sorry,
I
I
don't
was-
remember.
I was responding
I've
to a
heard that as well.
professor. What was the question?
About the bounty changes, what have they seen on CC so far about what's the lowest dip? Also, Razor, we're not going to be talking about M-Tech or MO-Tech today, so if that's what you came for, we're not going to talk about it. I love John Hartley, and that's my only statement. So, anyways, bounty changes. The 30% is what I've heard from somebody else as well.
Maybe 30. I haven't looked too much into it. I just found it was a weird change overall. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me, but CCP's changes of late are just kind of weird to me. I'm just like, okay, what's the thought process on this, and what are the implications of this? So, with the bounty, the whole bounty change, I'm just like, okay, I guess that's cool. It prevents people from, over-ratting each system and under-ratting certain systems, but that's about all it really regulates. I'm not sure if that was the full intention.
Did CCP, has anybody been able to find out how long after a player ship dies that the bounties go up?
That's kind of been the semi-testing this week, and I don't know if people I have not seen a beautiful Reddit thread of being laying out the numbers that they've seen. And CCP didn't release any numbers, so I don't know if they're still thinking about what they want. If it does go to 30% of the normal amount, and not it went down by 30%. No, we're talking about it stops at 30% of what it was. From what people seen up to 120, I think was the most I've seen. That's super counterintuitive in my view from the ADM system, and it's going to cause a lot of people to have to make some really tough choices. The time frame is really going to be the big factor. How long does it take between the bounty changes going up and down on the bounty system to the ADMs dropping?
I mean, ultimately, they say that the reason why they're implementing this is to try to spread us apart, spread us out, and be more active in more systems. But ultimately, we all know it's to keep us from injecting all this fake money into the economy so that we spend more plex.
My concern is, there'll be a fight happening, we're at 10% tie-dye, and it's just going horrible, and a boson trap isn't working because the servers are trying to figure out how much to increase the bounties at the asteroid belt.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. What are these? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I'm going to write that down. When did these bounty call changes happen? When does it calculate to change the bounty? Because you're right. With how the fights we are pushing the servers to the limit every day. And while Delve is on a pretty big node because we're usually pretty busy, it's still, there are some systems that just don't get much node love. So you're right. Let's say we're in a 10% tie-dye. Is that something they would turn off?
Would it be applied after the next day after the downtime?
Do you get one day of good stuff, and then after that it's just kind of well, somebody ratted a fuck ton the day before? So that's a good question. And that's the thing is we just don't know. And I think that's one reason why some players are a little hesitant to be excited about these changes, is because there's not much information given. I think they plan to give out more next week, because then the patch is the week after that. Is that right? Or is the patch next week?
I think
I don't
the
know.
super. I think the super changes happen in November. The bounty changes come after that. I think that's how it's gonna go.
Now, the positive that I see, or I understand they're trying to get people to spread out more.
They're
and try to.
basically rewarding, blue donuts with how they're implementing this. Because they want, okay, if you need to go wide instead of tall, you have to, like we did with test for a while, don't fucking touch Querius. We won't do anything through Querius to touch you, shit like that. You gotta do stuff like that so that it's just, Legacy is how many alliances now? And it's just a big fucking blob. I'm not saying we're not also like that. We have a shit ton.
We own
Most
4
of
regions.
it's
They own like
focused,
50.
but most of it is focused in Delve. Yeah, you could say we had Fountain and Querius and period basis, but for the most part, it's fucking empty.
Can
It's
you
not
drag
like
dirt
Delve. It's not like Delve where you go and you're just going through system
with it?
after system and it's
Working on
consistently 20 to 100 people in them all. So, it's just.
I could see this being a huge boon if you controlled all of the drone lands and some jackass was, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, was ratting in some dead end system where nobody visits out in the far edge of Northeast.
Eric's opening his. Is that
Yeah, it's
the
the
Mrs.
wife. She
Eric?
snuck out before I hit mute.
That's fine. Hi, Dirk. Welcome. We're talking about the bounty changes right now. We are talking about the positives and the questions we have about, kind of what people have seen so far on CC, as well as what do we think this is really going to affect beyond maybe what they've thought about.
The bounty changes.
I know we
the
talked about
dynamic
it all on
ones.
Saturday. Yeah. Now that people have had some time to go through on CC and kind of test it a little bit, we've heard reports of numbers of bounties getting down to 30% of what they were. I don't know if you've heard anything.
I've not heard much in terms of specifics, but 30% probably is. Yeah, I think that's probably reasonable as a lower end. If the bounties actually drop down to, say, 15 or 10%, I think that would probably be a little bit low for people to even consider bothering at that point. And, in nullsec, there's a lot of space that doesn't see much in terms of conflict. A lot of the times the big fights, they happen in very obvious border systems. So, yeah, I think there definitely has to be a lower bound that isn't utterly worthless if you're in, say, a Myrmidon. So yeah, I'd say 30% is probably about right, in my opinion on that. I haven't
for the lowest amount.
For the lower boundary, yeah, and then obviously the upper boundary is probably, it's probably reasonable to push the upper boundary up to about 250%, depending on just how much you rely on the player kills to push it to that level.
So players have seen, I think, 120% was the highest they've seen.
I think that's a little low.
But that's just numbers.
I think I could see how supers will be more useful, as a corp op situation. You fill up your super with some ratting ships, go out to one of those empty systems, and your entire corp does the clone thing into your super and goes out and starts ratting in a system. And then once the bounties drop, you fill back in, super jumps, and everybody clones over to your super again.
That's an option. I mean, it's definitely from looking at the idea, and I get the idea. It's to try and get people out of those dead end pockets to provide more ratters to be killable to the hunters. But
that never works.
But that was
the whole point of the roar quote, right? Put more whales out there to be killed, right?
Well, we proved that will happen.
I had a business idea. So you become the super pilot, and you got a whole bunch of extra boosters, and you rent out your routing ships, and then you rent out like a Raven for 5 million ISK an hour, and then once the bounties go down, you do the jump when you give out more boosters, and you pay. You have them pay for the boosters, and then they clone over to you, and you charge. It's like a service.
Well, you'd have to use a regular VAT bay, not a booster bay, because the boosters are only for if you die in system with the super,
Oh,
not to get to the super. You can VAT bay to a Rorqual. So if you had a Rorqual for the VAT bay and then a super for the ship, you could do that. But it sounds a little convoluted, but you could do it.
I'm just saying, Don, at some point, everybody gets tired of being, food for the prey, and they just stop doing that or organize a way to prevent it, right? So in Delve, you have the super umbrella, right?
Yeah,
and that,
Well, we also don't know the number. Like that's the problem with kind of the speculation. We don't have the numbers of how long will these stay down. Do they equilibrium back up to 100%? How much PvP is it? Like, what's the value to get PvP to get systems to go back up? And then on top of that, we have the ESS changes, which I get the idea behind. I think it's fighting some human nature. So, because the ESS changes
we haven't seen the details on those yet, as far as I'm tracking. Is that
other than what they
correct?
found in CC? Yeah, other than what they found in CC so far, which people have been able to play with them. What I was talking about in Theta earlier was what's preventing people from getting in there early and sitting Nagas 100 kilometers off the gate and sniping everything that comes in. You can't get out. Phantasm will die in 2-3 shots before it can get up to speed, and it's got to sit there for 5 minutes. I can't think of anything that would stop that unless you get your fleet in there first, or you bring so many people they can't clear through you before you can get some people on them and kill them. Right? I think I have a brilliant idea. So that's some of those things that I think about how would I as Theta deal with XYZ that's coming to my home? And I think a lot of us think that way in here. So it's I like that it doesn't allow for nano catty bullshit, as Dunk Dinkle would say, of little frigates running around, which is positive. But, I think it leaves some possibility for certain systems to just, you would never be able to steal from them. And you could potentially, set up bots to do those killings? Can you set bots to do that, to PvP?
What do you mean? When you say bots, do you mean drones?
No, I mean have a bot that just targets whatever comes in there and blasts it away.
All right, obligatory no botting.
I mean, of course we don't want botting, but I'm just saying, I'm thinking of,
it would have to be it had to be a very hard thing to set up. My coding brain is thinking right now, and the first thing that pops into my head is the Eve setting that lets you target back something that targets you, and abusing that in some way. But I can't see bots doing something that.
I'm not a bot maker.
Unless it was some kind of unless it was some kind of pixel color based AI, which I know some bots do in various games, but I couldn't see it happening in EVE Online.
Well, either way, you could have an alt sitting in there, and if you see someone who's trying to steal from you, which takes 5 minutes from what the early kind of stuff was, if you tab over in that 5 minutes, you could just blast them out of the sky, because they have to stay on grid, right?
Yeah,
with
I think
ESS?
You're in a bubble. When the current ESS, it spawns a bubble, and then when you actually go to steal from it, it does point you.
It doesn't. I don't believe it. You don't get officially pointed. The bubble is a scram, technically. So the whole bubble does not allow micro warp drives or MJDs. So you can only use an afterburner. So obviously everybody thinks of, oh, I'll just use a phantasm first, which you could. But you come in at 7 kilometers from the steal point, which is in the center of the bubble. So you have to burn out 60 something, 70 kilometers to get out of the bubble from what we've seen. And to do that,
and you have to stay next to the thing too. It puts a timer to steal.
Yeah, you can't you can't go too far away from it, I think, to keep stealing. I don't know though. That could be a new thing. I don't know. So with the ESS, like I get the idea of like they're trying to make it that a ratter can't just rat and just dock up and avoid their income being attacked in some way. Because a lot of people have talked about that ratters right now, if you are paying attention and unless you get unlucky with a pointing rat, can just warp off before anybody could get to you most of the time. So I get the idea that they're trying to reward the hunters who are out there putting the effort out to try and find somebody, and that they can get something no matter what. But I'm kind of worried that like there may be some abuses that are going to take some iteration to.
Of course there's going to be abuses. It's fucking Eve.
It is Eve. It is Eve.
Like, so it's not a payout in this. You could get paid in like little chips, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Tags or something. Yeah.
So what's to stop you just fucking warping to one of their stations, dropping in and asset safetying it? Like, you just sit in the system all day while they rat and just keep doing that.
Well, are they going to rat? It does leave open some potential gameplay of like, okay, like I think the ideal like situation is like someone happy-go-lucky ratting in their Myrmidon, and then somebody comes in to steal, and so they dock at the Myrmidon and get their friends and their PvP ships, and they go have a little brawl over the CSS. I think that's what their ideal
not all how it's gonna
option
actually happen though.
It'll probably happen a couple times, but I think the majority of players will just accept the fact that money's gone. That's what I worry about, because I know people who rat aren't necessarily PvP driven all the time.
Well, you are in a ratting ship. It's kind of hard for a ratting ship to take on a PvP ship, you know.
Can you
the
pull
ratting
dirt
ship's
check?
geared for a specific purpose, and PvP is geared to kill the ratter. So it's kind of a uphill battle.
Well, so now it's like, okay, you have to rat or mine. You got to rat or mine to keep your ADMs up. But if you rat too much, your amount of money you make goes down. But if you don't rat enough, your systems are vulnerable, and or good sites don't spawn. But while you're trying to do this, the cloaky camper that lives in your system 24/7 just sits there and tries to steal from you constantly, and at some point you just get tired of it. Mifune.
Yes.
Eric, are you able to? Can you pull Dirk down? He crashed.
Oh, did he crash?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Sorry,
There we go.
Sorry about that, guys.
Dirk's just in there all patient.
My PC decided that it wanted to just annihilate itself.
Just blue screen.
So it pulled an Eric. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's been happening.
Eric's not in the technical difficulties.
That's been happening to me a lot since the latest Windows update. I've been getting a couple blue screens here and there. It's usually like if I leave my computer on for longer than 3 or 4 days, and then it just blue screens by like the 5th day of it being constantly on.
It wasn't like a blue screen. It just kind of seized up.
Oh,
Yeah.
just kind of screw. Okay,
Well-
I never get any of that. It's either ride or die with my PC. It either runs perfectly smooth or it just kills itself.
Well, if you guys look at my post in
She's dramatic.
PvP a couple days ago, right? That's exactly what I said the latest patches were doing, right?
I haven't updated anything because I always give it
Yeah,
like a month
there
or
have been
two.
some noted issues with the latest patch. That's true.
Yeah, there are a lot, and they were sound issues, and that's the day we had all those sound issues, and I had a couple blue screens and all that good stuff.
Also, yes, lol. In case that this hasn't been touched on, and even if it has, it's worth reiterating. Guys who are listening, if you are playing EVE Online, after you launch the clients you want, close your launcher, because the launcher is kind of like spinning up background processes like crazy. And yeah, I've seen instances of it chewing up like 55%
Yes,
CPU utilization.
My question
it
is
does it to me.
why? Why is it doing it? The Eve launcher should not be consuming 2 of my 8 cores. Why?
It's because it
Mifune,
has the little pumpkins going on. the screen.
There's a very simple answer to this, and it's because boot.ini, and the answer is to delete your system32 file.
So I believe the actual answer is to delete system32 and then reboot. You can't forget the reboot function, and then to spam F12 and then have fun.
Just use a Unix box, go to root, and type rm-rf star.
Hey, did you guys know in EVE Online, if you do Alt F4, you get like 30,000 shield reps? It's the best thing ever.
Alt F4 doesn't actually work in EVE because that's an actual keybind in game, but I don't remember what it is.
Oh, sorry, it's for one of the hotbars.
It's your low slots, I believe, is the Alt key.
Your bottom rack.
Yeah, so it just doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the little pumpkins added in on the launcher that scroll by. I think that's what's doing it.
Gamers.
Let me tell you, they're bigger this year. I love the little pumpkin Rex symbols. I'm like, why can't we have like a little Christmas trees and little hearts? Like, there's so many holidays you could take advantage of CCP. Like, they're just some little character thing.
God.
You know what I want to see? I want to see.
Wait.
I want to see CCP on Christmas make every Keepstar decorated like a Christmas tree.
Oh wait. Did the skull, the pumpkin, the pumpkin skin have a countdown this year?
The pumpkin
Anybody know?
skin.
The Margro, whatever. I don't know.
The Malagrin Marshlight.
Yeah,
it's so ugly. I was at an Alliance Opens practice on, I think it was last week actually. It might have been last Wednesday, and we had a guy in a paladin who was using that skin, and it is so bright and ugly.
I will say it does look cool on the avatar. So
did last year's. Last year's Halloween skin looked badass on the avatar, but it just kind of looks like crap on every other shin.
Details. Not all of them can be a police skin, okay?
But the headhunter skin still remains the best one.
I've said it 100 times, and I'm gonna say it 100 times more. I want to spray paint on my own ship and have a bee on my Nyx.
Hello Kitty on my Nyx? No, that would be better.
Those
no Hello Kitty.
Those 3D printed
By the
things?
way, Hello Kitty's not a kitty. Just
What is she then?
It's a little girl.
Those nose and whiskers really tell me something different.
This isn't an argument.
If
you ask the company, they'll tell you that.
3D printed ships that CCP went all on a whole thing over last year. They're like really nice. It'd be nice if they had skins on them.
Which one?
The 3D printed. They had the professional printers.
Oh, yeah, and then have skins on instead of like the standard colors.
So, if y'all have ever seen Steam, Steam has their workshop where players create their own content with the game engine and such. Now, the biggest thing on the workshop for Steam is skins for games like Counter-Strike, for Team Fortress 2, the skins. So what if CCP created a tool where you can have a 3D modeling program, have the 3D models, basic 3D models of the ships in EVE Online, and design your own skins and submit them for review, and if CCP likes them, add it to the game.
Couple of points on this. One, this is a conversation that's been happening for years under the topic of Jesus Christ, CCP, give us alliance skins that we can fucking pay for. Because Jesus Christ, we want to throw money at you, but you just can't seem to give us things that we want to throw money at, regardless of us telling you these things. Also, I mentioned the Alliance Opens just a couple minutes ago. There are some developers working in collaboration with the EVE-NT team who have basically created a ship rendering tool that's going to be used during the Alliance Opens to kind of showcase the different tournament ship fits. But they're also able to put skins and all sorts of things within that tool. So players have already built this shit. Like, it's not a technical limitation. It's just CCP have decided, hey, no, we don't want to do that. Sorry.
We can hope
someday.
Make a lot of money easily. They just want to make a lot of money by having people stop playing this game.
No, they want to make a lot of money by, instead of generating ISK, they want us to generate ISK with money instead of the thing.
I say there's got to be something that is in the way that we just don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's just got to be something. Maybe they just like feel icky about it and they don't want to do that. I don't know.
They feel icky about that, but they don't feel icky at all about selling us raw skill points for straight cash.
So the funny thing is, Call of Duty had and this is a point I want to bring up with the whole 3D schematics thing. Call of Duty had a problem, and I know this kind of sucks. I'm bringing up games like Call of Duty, but Call of Duty had the problem with Black Ops 2 and how everyone made custom emblems and people were making dicks and tits and a whole bunch of other shit, right? So what if they limited it just like Call of Duty did? Now in Call of Duty, what you do is you create something and you either submit it to the game developers to add into the game itself, or you have predetermined designs and shapes that you can use. So instead of having dicks and tits and whatever on people's Titans, they can sit there and they can be like, okay, well, I want to take this plain color from this skin and add this cool decal that was on this skin, kind of mix it in there, blend the color a little, just kind of editing rather than full out creative freedom. Like even just that little bit, I feel like would make the community go absolutely nuts over it. Like even with the Alliance thing, just like, you have the Alliance flags on the structures and whatnot. Why not just have a ticker that says your Alliance, click the ticker, and then it shoves whatever Alliance you're in on your ship?
Again, we all want this. CCP have been told that we want this. It's not as if it's been a secret for anybody. They just haven't done it.
Tell them we don't want it, and we'll get it, like the red dot.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, Briscrewball, if you're listening, I'm still waiting for a toggle on that.
Mifune, you suggested that, submitting to CCP and then CCP review it. Like, when you start saying do that, then you got to pay somebody to sit there and look at these, and that requires, benefits. And,
well, it's not even that. Like,
and then also, when if I drew like a special bee for the ship skin and made a whole design, do I own the ship skin, or does that become CCP's? Do they pay me royalties?
They already have that.
So the fun thing is that this is something that, and I'm going to just compare it to this because this is what I'm used to, is the Counter-Strike market and Steam Workshop and how they operate. And the way that they operate is that you make your skin and you submit it to this workshop, and through the workshop you retain ownership of it, but partial ownership is to the game devs. And what it is that the game developers have a meeting every couple months, and what they do is that through this workshop you can vote for what skins you like, what skins you don't like. You can sort it by how many people have tried this skin, how many people have downloaded it, how many people have tried it out in a testing scenario setting. And what these people do is you vote for what skins you like, you vote for what skins you don't like, and CCP could go through this list of whoever is the most liked, and if CCP themselves like it, they integrate it. And what they do is that instead of paying things like royalties and ownership, basically what it is CCP approaches the skin developer and goes, hey, we'd love to add this to the game. Instead of paying royalties, etc., we'll give you one huge lump sum payment and we'll credit you in the description of the skin. So things like that.
The way CCP deals with things like that in terms of alliance logos is that the image is always retained as the owner's IP. It's their created material. What CCP do when they take it and they accept it as a submission for entrance into the game is they actually apply a filter onto that. That is enough of a filter, enough of a modification to the original image to then be CCP's IP in their game, because obviously they don't want to have other people's intellectual property within their intellectual property, because then that creates whole lots of legal hurdles, let's call them. And so, basically, those individuals who designed these logos are able to use those logos wherever they want elsewhere as their IP, and CCP has their version that they keep as part of the game files.
Listen, I'll hire my own lawyer. CAC, you're available, right?
I'm preoccupied. I apologize.
You don't want to... CAC's a lawyer for the government, guys. So
You're on your own, Don.
damn. It's okay. I think some more stuff's going to be popping off soon, so we might have to skedaddle quickly. We'll find out. I don't think Billy and them like being told that their Passpy is the name I saw earlier in chat, which I thought was hilarious as well.
Passpy? Oh, that sounds even better.
Yeah, Passpy. I don't know why we did not think of that a month ago. We literally have a whole song called We're Gonna Pass, and we didn't think of Passpy.
Passpy strikes. No, it's Passpy passes again.
Yeah, they don't strike.
They don't strike.
Pretty much this whole war has been us versus Horde, with Tess trying to make a token effort so that way people don't shit on them. Brave coming around in Eagles, which is because that's all they fly. And NC Dot showing up, and I will say I'm very impressed with NC Dot because they percentage wise they are putting in the work. They want a PvP, they are PvPing.
I did. Did you see that Brave? I think it was Brave that did the video on YouTube with the guy drinking and the bees.
Dunk is not a soda.
Dunk, the brave guy who with the drinking and the bees. Oh, wow. Sorry.
I remember seeing it earlier this week. All right, and actually, I thought it was a classy thing to do.
Dunk does these
a bunch of those
every month or whatever at the minute. Dunk is a really amazing guy, and everyone should like him, to be perfectly honest.
He does also provide some good salt.
Every time I see him do a not State of the Alliance thing, the more I'm like, I need to go to Vegas with this guy and just take 15 shots in a row with him, because
you can't.
You are too young.
Too young right now.
Yeah, so in 2 years you can do that?
Just about a year. I turned 20 in 4 months. So just about a year and 5 months.
You look way younger than that.
I know. I look younger. When I'm 50, I'm gonna look like I'm
Mifune's
30.
all baby face.
All right, boys and girls, I do think we have to end things here as things are starting to heat up in the game. So I do believe we will all see you on the battlefield tonight, and see you all tomorrow, not tomorrow, next Thursday on Theta Thursdays.
They're just gonna pass me again. Like,
We'll find out if they pass me.
they're gonna. When are they not?
They showed up earlier today.
They
couldn't get
showed
in.
up.
They don't know. They don't know how to find the entrance.
Their GPS sent them to the wrong system to shoot the wrong jump bridge. I'm sorry.
Yeah, probably.
All right,
That
but
GPS? You mean that PGL?
yes,
Yeah,
they're
like-
PGL.
They don't know how to find their way to the right thing. Apparently,
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm not gonna stop with these jokes, guys.
I maybe we'll bring a broadcast. I don't know. I have to talk to some of the other INN team, see where the fight's heading, if there is a fight, all that good stuff. But I will be here, so stick around. I should be streaming a fight if there is one. So I will hopefully see you all on the battlefield. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Love y'all.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Brr.